All right, we're rolling? Okay, so Mellow, one of Mellow's issues is he is all over the place on a walk. And he also is dog reactive. And part of that is probably because he didn't get properly socialized because he was pulled from his home at 5 weeks, which is way too early. So if you're at home getting a puppy, it should never go home earlier than 8 weeks. And when you do get a puppy, make sure that you go and see where the puppy came from. If you go in the place and the place is a mess and the people are not paying attention, or you get the dog in a bag, that's usually a sign of what we call a backyard breeder. Not to say that backyard breeders can't be great, but some people are just like, I'm going to breed puppies just to make money, or just because I can. There are other people who breed dogs who there's a lot of little things you can do for a puppy that will help them be more confident later in life. Sometimes they'll drop a toothpick while the dog chews a bone. And the dog gets up, looks at it, and then just goes back to chewing. Then they drop a pencil. Then they drop a magic marker. Then they drop something bigger. And so they kind of keep on doing, and eventually they're slamming a phone book on the ground, and the dog is looking at it and going right back to the bone. Other dogs will just immediately run away. They engage their flight mode. So there's a lot of little things we can do when they're a puppy that will really help. There's sometimes we have the things that will not help. Young children sometimes are going to do what they're going to do. All right, so on a walk, this is going to be what I call a structured walk. Now, this does not mean for every walk. This is to get the dog to start to look at you guys as authority figures and to start behaving and to take the responsibility off of his shoulders of thinking he's in charge, so he can just go back to being a follower. Then he's not responsible for everything, and he can just follow you rather than worried about everything. So on a structured walk, I have 3 rules. Rule number 1, stay in your position. So we're going to give him a right side or a left side, and he has to stay in the right side or the left side only. Now, I'm going to show you here in a second the trick that we're going to do on the martingale collar that's going to stop him from pulling, basically, and give you more control in the walk. Now, once we do this, the martingale, we want to correct him before he gets too far in front. For dogs, whoever is in front is literally in charge. So if we let him walk in front of us, he's going to be more reactive to other dogs because he thinks he's your security guard. So we put him on a right side or left side, and he can't go any further than really our torso. And we'll do a video on the walk, and it'll make a little bit more sense. Rule number 1, stay in your position. Don't go too far in front. Rule number 2, no stopping and sniffing. Now, a dog is a scent creature. They should use their nose. To say they can't ever use their nose would be inappropriate. So he can use his nose as long as he keeps up with us. But if he stops to sniff something and I stop, then he controlled the walk. So he has to go with us. He can sniff as he goes. Now, other walks, he can sniff and do what he wants, but a dog's nose controls 60% of their brain. So if he's sniffing something else, you could be holding up a steak. He can't pay attention even if he wants. Rule number 3 is I don't let dogs mark. Now, marking is urinating a little bit on a lot of vertical surfaces. Usually done by a male dog. Some females will mark as well. Now, when I work in different parts of the country, it's different problems. In the Midwest, everybody has a yard. Here in California, very few people have yards. So they walk their dogs to let their dogs urinate. So if that's the case, then we let the dog urinate when we start the walk and when we get back from the walk. If you really feel bad, you can do it at the halfway point of the walk, but not wherever he wants, specific designated areas. So he gets to one of those areas that he likes to pee, that could be his designated area. Then you say, give him his command word, and then he has to potty there or not. So those are the 3 rules for a structured walk. All right, now I'm going to show you how we can apply the special twist to the martingale. Now, Mellow is still in his flight or fright mode, so he does not want to come over. So I'm going to pull him over, which I generally don't like pulling a dog over on the leash, but because we have a video, we have to kind of make this, we can't make it a 5-minute or a 10-minute video. We're going to have to pull him over a little bit. So when I pull, I try to pull a little bit and relax the leash. Pull, relax. So every time he gives me a foot, I relax the leash. So I want him to understand that coming forward is when the tension is removed. Now he, again, doesn't want to come too close, so this is going to be, there we go, kind of a piecemeal way. It's like, I'm coming over here. There we go. There we go. He's using his snout, which is what we like. Now, a martingale has an extra loop on the collar right here. This is where we attach the D-ring. So we position this loop so it's on his back. Then we're going to take the leash and we're going to run it around his chest. And then we're going to run it through the small loop. When we run it through the small loop, always goes towards the head, never go towards the rear end. It should be falling right into his shoulder blades. Now, when we do this properly, now he's shaking a little bit because, again, he wants to engage his flight mode. Now, the nice thing for this, and we have a lot of kids, we have a house full of kids. I'm guessing that you swaddled your kids when they were younger. This is the same science as swaddling a child. The constriction helps them remember being in their mother's belly and when they couldn't extend all their limbs. So that will help calm them down. Now, the correction for this is going to go straight up and then immediately relax the leash. What a lot of people do is they pull the dog everywhere, and that puts tension on the leash, and that tells the dog that you're uncomfortable, and he's going to pull the whole time, and that's not going to be very much fun for you. So what I do when I correct, I give it a quick jerk and I relax the leash. I call this a hanging J because it looks kind of like the letter J. Some people say it looks like the letter U, but usually it's more like this. So I correct and then I immediately relax the leash. Don't correct and keep tension on it because then that tells the dog something's wrong. So these are the 3 rules that I have for a structured walk. We're going to cut the video here in a minute, and then I'm going to go out, take the dog out for a walk by myself, and then we're going to go out as a family, or some of us are going to go out for a walk, and then we'll have some footage of the walk showing how to position and how to correct using the martingale with the special twist leash. So those are the 3 rules for a walk.